What is up, everyone? And I am reviewing a movie, that's for sure. It's, I think it's animated. Hey Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
What movie am I reviewing again?
You're reviewing Finding Nemo, sir.
Oh, Finding Nemo. That's right. Sorry, I just forgot.
Are you referencing Dory's short-term memory loss again?
No, I am not referencing Dory's short-term... Yeah, I'm totally doing that. Yes, I totally am. Finding Nemo is the 5th Pixar movie made, and it was directed by Andrew Stanton. It was released in 2003, and stars Alexander Gould and Ellen Degeneres. The film takes place in Australia, which is awesome because I am Australian. And the film follows a fish named Marlon, who is just about to become a father. However, after a terrible tragedy that happens to him, he eventually has Nemo, and he decides to become extremely protective to Nemo, and he doesn't want anything bad to happen to him. In spite of being extremely protective of his son though, eventually Nemo gets captured by divers, and so Marlon decides to go on a mission to rescue him. Now, sooner or later I intend on having a Pixar marathon where I give you all of my thoughts on every single Pixar movie released in chronological order, including updated thoughts on The Good Dinosaur and Inside Out. And I was really looking forward to doing that. One of the reasons why I was so excited about having a Pixar marathon is because I believe this year is Pixar's 30th anniversary. And so I'm really excited to do that. I'm just reviewing Finding Nemo a little bit early because tomorrow I'm going to see Finding Dory in theaters. I'm really excited for Finding Dory. I've been hearing really good things about it, and so I'll be seeing it tomorrow, so I can't wait to see it. And don't worry guys, I'll be sure to review Finding Dory as soon as I get back from seeing it in theaters. So in excitement and anticipation, I decided to review Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is quite possibly one of the most popular Pixar films out there. It's one of Pixar's best-selling DVDs. In fact, apparently at one point, Finding Nemo was the best-selling DVD of all time. Well, I don't think it's as good as other Pixar works like Toy Story or Inside Out, but watching this movie again, I definitely think it's one of Pixar's best. It has been years since I've last seen Finding Nemo, and I don't even know how long it's been since I last saw it. And I always thought, yeah, it's a good Pixar film, it's not as good as the other ones, but yeah, it's good. Watching Finding Nemo again for the sake of this review, and in anticipation for Finding Dory, I've come to realize that Finding Nemo is a much better film than I remembered. A lot of people have been telling me and texting me that they think that their favourite Pixar film is Finding Nemo. And after seeing the film again through the eyes of a teenager as opposed to the eyes of a kid, I can see why. Finding Nemo is a very, very well-made Pixar film, and I cannot wait for Finding Dory. Finding Nemo is a very well-made film, and is a great example of what makes a great Pixar film. A lot of friends of mine tell me that Finding Nemo is one of their more kiddie-like films out there. However, honestly, when I really watched this movie again through the eyes of a teenager and looking at its story and everything, this is actually one of Pixar's most mature films. Right now, I think that 3 of Pixar's most mature films would be The Incredibles, Inside Out, and this movie. And here's why. For starters, while there's a lot of kids films that always have lessons about kids, like always tell the truth, don't be mean, be good to the environment, respect your parents, or some other message of the sort for kids. However, here, there really isn't a message for kids. There is a message though, but it's a very adult message. This movie has a great message to parents about don't be overly protective of your kids. You do need to somewhat loosen up. Safety is important, but don't go overboard with safety. I don't really see many family films do that. How many animated films do you see that has a lesson for the adults watching as opposed to the kids? And while I definitely think that this movie has its very laugh-out-loud moments, I definitely think this is a funny movie, more on that later, however, this is also a very dramatic film. This movie has a lot of drama. At times, this is a very serious movie. The idea of losing your wife in a very traumatic death, and then having your son taken away from you, a character that has a terrible memory, like when you really get down into it, these are very serious topics, and yet they seem to be the soul and focus of this film. And I do not mind this at all. A lot of people tell me that this is one of the more kid-like kind of movies. However, if you really look into the movie's story and characters and its development and its themes and its messages, it's really the definition of a film that is animated, but it's not just for kids. I'm being completely serious. This is one of the most mature animated films I've ever seen in my life. I'm not gonna go on and say it's as mature as other Disney or Pixar films like The Incredibles or Zootopia. However, it's still a very mature film. Marlon is an excellent main protagonist, and the main reason why I say that is because he's likable, he's genuinely flawed, he has a lot of flaws actually, but they're understandable. You can see why he has those flaws, and you still relate to him. He's likable. Marlon is just a single father who has a love for his son, and he just wants the best of his son. He's flawed, he's a clownfish that isn't funny, and he is extremely overly protective. However, he's just a single father who all he really wants is just the best for his son. And I think that is an aspect of his personality that any parent can relate to. Losing your family is a horrible thing to happen, and so that makes Marlon a very, very great character for adults to relate to. And the extreme extents he goes through are really quite subtle in a way. There's a whole sequence where Marlon is taking Nemo to school, and the way Marlon is swimming with Nemo, the way he moves is very manipulative. Whenever Nemo goes slightly too far left or slightly too far right, Marlon instantly heads over to this side and really moves him to each position to really control and confine the pathway of Nemo. He's all over him, really. You're paying attention to his conversation, but as they're chatting, Marlon is always doing this or doing this to make sure that Nemo doesn't go too far left or too far right, too far up or too far down. And he's very, very controlling of Nemo. And it's just simply swimming to school. This is just something that is seen visually, and only those who are paying attention will pick up on it. And I love subtle details like that. Marlon also has a great character arc. He is genuinely flawed, but he does learn to overcome those flaws, which makes a great protagonist. And also, it's really great to see how well done the chemistry between Marlon and Nemo is, despite the fact they're really only together in 2-3 scenes of the movie. The film does a great job of really establishing the personalities and chemistry between these two characters, despite the fact that they are barely together. Alexander Gould is fantastic as Nemo. I know that he doesn't play as Nemo in the sequel because he's now too old, but I'm really excited because I heard that he makes a cameo in Finding Dory. But honestly, Alexander Gould does a fantastic job playing as this kid. Whenever I'm watching Nemo on screen, I actually forget that I'm listening to someone acting. He is honestly in my top 3 favorite child actors in a movie so far. The other two of which is Dakota Fanning as Coraline, and Edward Furlong as John Connor in Terminator 2. The scene when Nemo actually does get lost is very well done. The delivery of both Alexander Gould and the actor of Marlon, I should have looked his name up before filming this, but I was lazy. He was great throughout the entire film, however he really stood out in that certain scene because as the voice actor speaks, you really do get the idea and the feel of this panic as he is desperately trying to find his son. It's well done and it's very suspenseful and it really fills you up with tension. It's a very, very well done scene. It's quite possibly my favourite scene in the movie because you really feel that panic inside. And then there is Little Miss 42 Wallaby Way Sydney. That's right, Dory. Everyone's favourite Pixar fish. Excellently played by Ellen DeGeneres. Now, I'm familiar with Ellen DeGeneres, and I know who she is. I know that she's a comedian, and I've watched a few episodes of her show. I don't watch her an awful lot. I really more watch those little burst 2-minute videos of her, like, clumsy thumbsy videos. However, the videos I do watch of Ellen are very, very, very funny. And I can tell that she is really passionate of this role. Ellen really loves playing the role of Dory, and it really shows. Dory is honestly my favourite character in the movie. The fact that she has short-term memory loss, it could have been so easy to make this character annoying. However, the way that they do it and the way they play around with it makes it very, very entertaining. But she's not just funny with her short-term memory loss, she does have a really fun, entertaining, and lovable personality. She's quite possibly my favourite side character in any Pixar movie ever made. The tank group that Nemo meets eventually after he's getting captured, That group is very, very likable. I love William Dafoe as Gil and the rest. They all have bright and colourful personalities, and you just get to know and really fall in love with every single one of them. Such likable characters. I also feel like that this movie is very well balanced with both its drama and its sense of humour. I already spoke about how dramatic the film can be, however, it also is a very funny movie. I wouldn't say it's gut-wrenchingly funny, however, since it's been such a long time since I last saw this movie, I laughed at nearly every joke in this movie. Here's Brucey!
Do you even know what that's referencing?
Yes, I do know what that's referencing. I just haven't seen it. While this definitely is a great comedy, the best aspect of this entire movie is the main menu on the DVD. Seriously, the menu on this DVD is stinking hysterical.
Okay, you got a lot of choices here. You can watch just the movie without the commentary.
I'm so excited! I've always wanted to see The Little Mermaid.
Good. Well, this is Finding Nemo.
Oh, well, that sounds nice, too. Maybe we should watch that one.
We're watching that one. This is Finding Nemo.
Oh, you shouldn't have switched just for me.
Unbelievable.
I've always wanted to be in a film.
You were in a film. This one, Finding Nemo.
No way! I'd remember that. Seriously.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. Being in a film would be so glamorous.
Really?
Oh, my. Fabulous. Where's my trailer? I need water.
Dory.
Fill my trailer with water.
Something's wrong with you.
Just keep watching, just keep watching, just keep watching, watching.
You got a lot of
Keep
choices here.
watching, just
Or you don't even have to watch
just
this
keep
movie.
watching,
Take the
just
disc
keep
out,
watching,
and I'll
watching,
stop
watching,
talking.
keep watching, just keep watching, just keep watching.
There are no wrong choices.
Watching,
The only
keep
wrong
watching,
choice is to
just
sit there
keep
like you're doing.
Watching.
There's a lot of good choices here. Just pick one. Pick one so we can start.
Watching, just keep watching.
Please.
Keep on.
All of us got nothing to do. Hit a choice, will you?
Watching, keep on watching.
I have to say that is probably the most creative menu I've ever seen on a DVD or Blu-ray in my life. Seriously, Pixar, when you updated the DVD to 2013, why on earth did you get rid of it? Naturally, this is Pixar, so you really do expect high standards as far as technology. So much so that they actually had to tone down the amount of animation. What I mean by this is because at first, when they were first working on Finding Nemo, the animation was so good that it was too photorealistic. So they had to make the animation more cartoony to make it feel like it's more of an animation film because it looks like live action. You know, I was impressed with The Good Dinosaur, but the fact that they were able to accomplish photorealistic animation in 2003? That is impressive! For that kind of reason, I feel like the animation in this movie is already as good as it possibly could, because if your animation, if you have to dumb it down because of how photorealistic it is, I don't really see how it can be improved upon. Maybe better particles, maybe better lighting and all that stuff. But I'm really impressed, especially by 2003 standards. Not to mention that this movie also has some very fun, very good, also somewhat intense, but very well done, well realized action scenes. The whole sequence with the jellyfish, the whole sequence with some of the current elements during some of the sea turtle sequences, the scene where Bruce goes insane, this movie has some pretty good action. Overall, I had a lot of fun watching Finding Nemo, and even though I'm about to see Finding Dory, I honestly feel like watching this movie again, even though I only just saw it. And it's a lot better than I remembered, and I had so much fun watching this movie again after many, many years. A lot of people say that this is their favourite Pixar film, and now, since I just watched it again in the eyes of a teenager, I can see why. My only real gripe with the movie is that despite the fact that Nemo is the character, and his name appears in the title of the movie, I feel like his character is a bit too underplayed in this movie. He's really just there just for something for Marlon to go after. He's a great character, he just doesn't really contribute that much to the plot. They do try to give him stuff to do, like with the whole filter subplot and with him trying to escape, but it backfires, so he really doesn't do anything. I just feel like that Nemo is a pretty weak character as far as the way he was written, since he doesn't really contribute that much to the plot, which is kind of sad considering he's the title character. But really, despite being known as the title character, he's not really the main character of the movie. Marlon is. But that is a very, very small gripe, and that is really only me just giving a con to the movie just because I'm reviewing a movie, so I have to critique movies. So that's just me trying to find something to find one negative to the movie. It's a great film, and I definitely think it's worth watching or watching again, regardless of whether or not you've seen Finding Dory yet. If you haven't seen Finding Dory yet, but you're going to, regardless of whether or not you've already seen it, watch it again first, and then go and see Finding Dory. If you already have seen Finding Dory, watch this one again, because it's a great film. Again, it's not Pixar's best, but it's definitely one of them. Finding Nemo gets an A. If you haven't seen this movie at all, or you haven't seen it in a long time, I definitely recommend checking this movie out. It's a lot better than I remembered. I cannot wait for Finding Dory. I'm going to see it in theaters tomorrow, and I'll be sure to review it as soon as I get back. But until then, hasta la vista, baby.